and Gordon Park. Join us as we give our opinion concerning everything dealing with politics. We don't hold back, so prepare for a no-nonsense approach to the news, and no, we don't care about your feelings. Uncensored and no sugarcoating. Sit back and enjoy the ride. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Political Analytical. I'm your host, Eddie Hill, along with my other host, Rick Warren and Gordon D. Park. Welcome, everybody.
Good evening.
How's it going, guys?
Well, I told you this was going to happen. I told you that eventually people are going to start getting upset and pissed off at the fact that we've got all these riots and burning and pillaging and thefts and burglaries and assaults and killings and all this kind of stuff taking place. And it finally happened. We now have all the Trump supporters and the patriots and all these people, these armed militias, finally starting to push back. They're sick of it, and they are out to make this world safe again because they're tired of all the crap. I've been watching it, throughout this weekend, and I'm glad people are finally starting to push back on this.
It's about time.
It is about time.
I agree totally. I'm sitting in here, guys. I'm playing with my brass, okay? My little 30-06 9mm. If you got any of that, you better start saving it. From what I hear, what do you think, Eddie?
Well, from what I understand, and this is also from my own personal experience, I've been trying to find more ammo to add to my stockpile, and there isn't any. Very few rounds for any of the weapons that I currently own, and that's hard to believe. Very hard to believe.
Wasn't that long ago, you'd walk down to, well, hell, you could almost walk into Walmart and get what you wanted. I have not seen a brick of anything. Have you guys?
I have not. I've been in several places throughout this weekend doing different things. And it's you're just not going to find very much of it right now. And talking to several people and looking back at past news reports, they said companies like Remington and other ammo making companies were shutting down their production to start preparing for to manufacture COVID response supplies. So they were retooling to do that. Now, I gave that a solid sniff test and came to find that was probably bullshit. They have shut down a lot of these plants and a lot of these facilities in fear of COVID. So the weapon or the ammunition that was being mass produced before has slowed. I don't know that we're going to see an uptick. Again, what we have now and what people like Eddie and myself and you, Rick, what we have in stockpile may be all we have for the next year and a half. And depending on who wins the election, it may be all we have, period.
Wow, that's crazy. Kurt Martinez says, when ordering, I'm limited to the amount they will let me buy. Well, it's better to be limited than not being able to find any. And
Kurt, you need to put out and tell us where you're ordering it from, limited or not, so we can get on and order some.
Actually, it was about 2 weeks ago. I was at Cabela's in Wichita, Kansas, and you can the shelves are full. 9mm, 30-06, 22, whatever you want. I mean, in fact, that's where I got this little baby, a whole bunch of it. but it was that was 2 weeks ago, though. Things change in 2 weeks.
Yeah, Lilith says, I've been advising everyone to get off grid and go where, I guess, where it doesn't reach. So, I mean, yeah, and that's good advice there, Lilith. I mean, it's been crazy. Kurt says prices are almost 3 times more than what they used to be on ammo. And I believe that's got some price gouging going on. Antonella is on here. How you doing, Antonella? I appreciate you being here. She says, hello, everyone. And yeah, I mean, it's been nuts right now. Lois says, my boys know how to use bows and knives. That's good. Gordon is a bow hunter himself, and he knows how to use it. I've been bow hunting a few times, so I'm very familiar with it, although I prefer to reach out a little further. But it's you guys know what I do.
Yeah, we know what you do. Look, the reason, but when you reach out a little bit further, everybody knows where you are.
Well,
maybe
not
with my bow before anybody can figure out that 12 of them are missing.
Yeah, but at 1,200 meters, you won't even know the shot went off when somebody next to you dropped. So yeah,
this is true.
Okay,
well,
Antonella said,
Eddie,
well, I'm happy to be here.
Eddie, if you hear the shot, you know it wasn't meant for you.
Yeah, you hear the shot, it wasn't for you.
That is good.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's just nuts. But I told you people were going to start getting pissed off and they were going to start shooting back. And they have.
And it's about time, like I've said before. You know, we as the silent majority, we will only stand by for so long. We will only stand by for a period of time just to watch and see what unfolds. I come back to the instance where I think it was in Nevada, the guy who was grazing cattle on free range cattle. And the government tried to cut off his water supply and tried to arrest him for trespassing or take whatever water hole he had on eminent domain rights. And there was a big battle, and his family was going through everything, trying to face down and say, this isn't right, this isn't right, this isn't right. And the silent majority stood up there and said, enough's enough, and forced to back down. We've all been talking about this. We've been watching the news and watching these people destroy this country that we love. We've been watching these idiots destroy monuments that are dedicated to our past. We've been watching these people hit and kill and beat people who didn't, just because they had a different opinion than they did. And we finally said, enough is enough. And we've stood up, we've taken to the streets, and we've told Antifa, we've told BLM, if you want a fight, come and get one.
Yeah, and it's about time. James says, good evening, boys. Trump 2020, after the election, ammo will be abundant. My neighborhood, including myself, have enough to hold them off for at least a couple of nights. That's good, James. Hopefully it won't have to come to that, but you know, it's always best to be prepared. Deborah Fawcett says, hey y'all, I'm pissed off. Why are you pissed off, Deborah? Let us know. Jump in there in the comments and shoot us a message. But yeah, I mean, it's been crazy, but I'm glad people have had enough. I'm glad people are pushing back. I'm glad finally these idiots are finally starting to see that the silent majority aren't going to put up with this for much longer. I mean, we're done. We're not going to be playing these games. We're not going to let our cities being burned to the ground. We're not going to let them come invade our homes, jump on our property, or do whatever it is they want. It's not going to happen. No more. And I'm glad.
Yeah, these Antifa fools. Go ahead, Rick.
I like the reference you just had there, Gordon, on, I believe, was that happening when that happened at the Bundy Ranch? and they had a bunch of patriots mount up and go out there and back his ass. And actually, they stood down the damn government. And I got a feeling those same boys are still there, and that's why you're not seeing. You're not seeing this kind of shit. What Eddie's saying about around here in the Midwest or Texas. I don't know about Texas, but I know here in Wichita, Kansas, an area, you're not seeing that crap because we go out and have fun just shooting guns, drinking beer, just for the hell of it. And there's a bunch of them. I mean, a bunch. In fact, we just got done 2 days ago sighting in some new guns for kids and everything, and adults. And it's kind of like that Japanese guy said that one time, behind every blade. Is that, am I saying that right?
Behind every blade, what?
There'll be a weapon.
Yes. And I also like it. I'm also going to make reference to the World War II Japanese general that said after the Pearl Harbor attack, well, one of his underlings came to him and said, you know, congratulations, you've annihilated the Americans. We need to finish them off. And he looked at his underling and said, unfortunately, I think all we've managed to do is wake a sleeping giant.
Yep.
And all they've managed to do right now is wake a sleeping giant.
I agree.
Anybody who knows that the American population, the silent majority that owns the weapons, that are the conservatives that are finally standing up and saying enough is enough, when we get woke up and we're full on, you're going to let you know, I credit Antifa with some of what they've done. They've managed to disrupt our United States fairly easily. But if they want to start coming into the neighborhoods, start going into rural America, they lose all kinds of intelligence points, because you're going to see 40 of them go out into rural America, and you're going to see one come back with a message: don't go back.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm. Right. And then we got Deborah, who says she loves our hats. And Lilith says, I'm still working in DC, but my 3 boys are being taken care of by the Choctaw tribe down south. That's awesome there, Lilith. And Kurt says, it's hunting season around here. I think those clowns are going to stay in the East and West Coast. Let's see here. And Deborah says, amen, Gordon. And James, I'm going to have to put on some glasses for this one because it goes on for a little bit. He said, pushing back is good, but we have to do is be strategic. Let those far left idiots make the example of what this country don't want. The time to fully act will be after election. I think the administration knows this strategy and have been keeping cool. So our hands are clean until November 3rd. Yeah, I agree. And Deborah says they're about to get a taste of solidarity, is what solidarity is all about. Lilith says, congrats on Eddie's prediction on Joe's running mate being a black and a woman. You called it. Well, she's not really black. I think they made a mistake. I think they were going that route, but they kind of screwed up there, Lilith. She's not mocha. Really black. Yeah. And
she's mocha.
Kurt says, I have you where I got my ammo in comments.
Yeah, thank you, Kurt. I appreciate it.
And then Maria says, hi, guys. Kurt also says, Gordon, I posted in comments where I ordered mine. Cool. So that's awesome. But yeah, I mean, this is one of those things I was watching this weekend also where a lot of these patriots, I guess, militia showed up in Kentucky, and they were marching up the street, very well organized, very proper. They weren't trying to intimidate. They weren't cussing. They weren't causing any problems. Even when they had their run-in with the BLMs, they were talking to them, hey, we're not here to offend anybody. We're not here to hurt anybody. We're here just to keep the peace. And that's all they said. And that's the way it should be. They were very quietly. They even told everybody that had a weapon, get on the sidewalk, get off the street. Anybody with a weapon, get off the street and get on the sidewalk. And they were even calling out up ahead when vehicles were moving in to get people out of the road. That way the vehicles could pass safely and there weren't any issues. That's awesome. And that right there shows what kind of people these are. And not only that, the type of dedication, the type or their ability to be able to take orders and so forth. I think that's really, really awesome.
Well, Eddie, you know why he told everybody with weapons to get on the sidewalk, right? That's standard flanking procedure.
Sure. Lilith says, start sun gazing, Eddie, so you can shed the glasses. These? I need these to read, okay? I'm old.
You need those to start fires with, Eddie. Those things are thicker than code bottles.
Dude, these are reading glasses. Reading glasses. That's all they are. I can't see close. It's age. Thanks, there, little. Appreciate that. Marcus, he says, the sleeping giant shall awaken after November 3rd, and health cometh to those leftist fools. Marcus, I think you're right, buddy. I think you're right. Deborah Fawcett, patriots have been great at practicing restraint and setting examples. Amen, Deborah. And she also says, we're all old, y'all. Well, I'm trying not to be that damn old, but my darn glasses give me away. Somebody else needs to read, so I don't have to give myself away.
There you go.
Lilith says, what the public needs to know, if Trump has his team working in secret, he has teams all over the world. JFK Jr. started this many years ago. And Darren Wedlock, he says, hey guys, just read an article that under the 14th Amendment, the government has the power to arrest anyone, governors, mayors, and state officials who promote rebellion against the United States of America. Thoughts, Gordon? I'm going to give that to you because you're a constitutionalist.
That is correct. They do have the right to do that. However, there's a very fine line when they say that they have the power to arrest anyone, governors, mayors, state officials who promote a rebellion in the U.S. They're not talking about getting up and saying, this is bullshit. We need to stand together and do something. That is not speaking out against the United States of America. What they're speaking about is sedition and promoting active acts of terrorism against the government. Telling your state militia, arming your state militia and telling them to go after your Washington, D.C., committing acts of treason. So, yes, they are talking about, they can arrest a governor, they can arrest a mayor under the 14th Amendment. Yes, you are correct. But the lines at which they can do that are very, very, very fuzzy. If we have, let's take this a step further. So let's say that Dirty Uncle Joe gets into office, and Greg Abbott comes to the state of Texas, stands up to everybody who's pissed off, and says, "Hey, look, guys, you know this isn't right. I know this isn't right, but we kind of have to do what we kind of have to do right now." And leaves it open-ended like that. I take that one way. Eddie, you may take that another way. Rick, you'll probably take it a third way. But Dirty Uncle Joe up there may take that as sedition. And he could arrest Abbott in his wheelchair, the whole 9 yards. Now, Trump wins again, and you've got these leftist morons who say, hey, guys, we may not like it, so we need to grab keep protesting, keep doing what we need to do, keep raising hell out in the streets until we get Trump out of there. Is that sedition or is that freedom of speech? Trump being the man that he is today, he's going to say, that's freedom of speech. They can do and say what they want to. But the very first time a store gets looted, the very first time a building is set on fire, the very first time blood is drawn or spilled in that street, I'm dispatching the National Guard. That is different. And that's what they mean by, they could be arrested.
And Maxine Waters and old Beetlejuice are going to say something stupid like that.
Yes. They're going to say that, that the right wing, the conservative populace is preaching sedition to the silent majority, stating that we have that we're going to create problems for Dirty Uncle Joe. But the problem is Dirty Uncle Joe has already come out and said that if Trump wins the election, he's going to create as many problems as he can for Trump. And this is where the problem lies.
I wanted to address that a little bit too, because guys, I don't think some of these people in these groups like Antifa and BLM are smart enough to organize the kind of organizational skills that it takes to do what they're doing in a volatile way like they're doing it. Okay.
So
somewhere there's somebody that is backing these people. I looked on a video the other day. There were five very nice, very comfortable air-conditioned buses that these people rode into this town on. Now, who in the hell has the money to actually sit there and hire 5 busloads antagonists to go to a city to raise hell? We need to find that out. We need to ask questions. We need to start digging. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's going to be George Soros. Watch. There's a lot of that's going to be tied into him.
You guys are looking at the short game. I'm looking at the long game. The long game is Trump wins the election. Biden continues to push. Soros continues to push. Trump then turns around and calls the National Guard. We have bedlam in the streets. We have blood being spilled in American streets. So what's the next step? Because there is a next step. That next step is our former president, who loves to stay in the spotlight despite the fact that he's irrelevant, who has a permanent seat on the UN Council, going to the UN and begging for their help. Americans are losing their lives at the hands of other Americans because of this corrupt Republican government. They're killing people in the streets. And how long is it going to be before we have UN soldiers in the streets?
That's very true. Lil says Biden isn't going to be around much longer. No, and Biden's not going to be the president either. I know he's the one running, but yeah, he's not going to be the one pushing the buttons. And that's if he even lasts that long. I don't know if a lot of people realize it, but that man's on his way out already. Kurt says, no matter who wins, there will be chaos, unfortunately. Thought?
I don't know. I'm going to have to question that, Kurt. If Biden were to win, do you think that the silent majority is going to immediately take to arms and pound the streets to have that, to have that election overthrown? Do you think we'll have people like Britney Spears and get on there and cry and have a complete mental breakdown that Trump lost? I don't see it. If Trump loses the election, I think there's going to be a lot of political maneuvering still. I think there's going to be a lot of legal maneuvering. But from November 4th until the December 20 or until January 20th, I believe, is when the inauguration is.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to see all hell breaking loose.
Yeah, Kurt says, how is Biden still in the race with his health issues and indictments against him? Rick?
The same way Hillary Clinton was. She was on FBI's list. She was being questioned for Benghazi. She was being questioned about indictments against the emails, and so on and so on and so on. But this lady managed, by all the connections that there are in Washington, D.C. and abroad, to fend those off and still be a viable candidate. Let's look at dear brother, what's his name, that hasn't paid his taxes in 10 or 12 years. How does he get by with that? If you and I would sit there and fail in 2 or 3 years to not pay our taxes, I'll guarantee you're going to get a phone call. You're going to get a letter. You might even get a knock on the door.
We're just more than that.
And that's my point, is that we, as natural citizens and as the people of the United States, we don't count in some instances as far as when the big boys are playing. And that's the big boy game up there when you have Hillary Clinton and you've got all these other people, Joe Biden, all the way around the DC metro area that are implanted in our United States government. We have a problem. And if Joe Biden gets elected and seated into that presidency, I tell you, I hate to think about what's going to transpire. Because first thing Kamala said when she sat there and was jumping up and down was, "We're coming for your guns." That's going to be one hell of a battle, Eddie.
Yeah. I mean, all I can say is bring it. Deborah says, don't you think that a lot of these deep state people are going to be removed after Trump wins this election? Probably not very quickly. And the reason I say that is, I mean, look how long Hillary's there. And I mean, she's one of the biggest crooks of them all.
Look at how long Pelosi's been there.
And Pelosi, yeah, she's another one. Kurt says, got to step out for a minute. Have to help wash a deer. LOL. He's going to go wash a deer. And Marcus, I got to put glasses on because this is going to be a long one. He says, upon a Trump victory, we need to crush these Antifa knuckleheads. Can you imagine what the hell the American people will have to deal with if these Soros flying monkeys double down on us at our front door? Honestly, Marcus, I don't think they're going to be stupid enough to go door to door. I think they've tried that and it turned out pretty bad already. What do you think there, Gordon?
Here's the problem. In Marcus, you have to understand that we have to crush them, but we have to get rid of them, and we have to stop what's going on, but we have to do it the right way. If we just out and out go out there and use the fist of God or the hammer of Thor and crush these people, then that gives the left the leg that they need to stand on to call us the horrible right, the bloodthirsty American.
I don't have a problem with that.
I don't either. But you know who does? The UN. The UN, who's already banned guns in a lot of states, including Australia and England. I mean, they've banned the private citizen from having weapons.
And they've done that in Australia.
Yeah, everybody's looking for an excuse to come in and take Texas, or Texas good old boy, come in and take their guns. And it's going to be a cold day in hell before that happens.
Oh, it'll be a seriously bloody fight. James says, how scary is that? The third in line to the nuclear code got set up by a hair salon. People have to get out and vote. Show up at the polls and vote. Absolutely, James. And that's true. I mean, yeah, she got caught at a hair salon. I mean, I'm sure she could have had some of her fancy ice cream. She'd have been having that as well, too.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, and you're right. And, here's the scary part. If something happens where they can't make up their mind who won the election, guess who is going to be with their finger on the button at that point in time until a president is decided?
Wrong.
Third in control, Nancy
according to the Constitution, in the event of a disputed election or electoral win, the power moves to the Senate until it is firmly decided.
You might want to check that.
The only way Pelosi gets her little grubby, little bony fingers on everything is if Biden is elected, is found incompetent, Kamala is killed or is incapacitated, she's third in line. Then she gets it.
And Lilith says, Deborah, Rome wasn't conquered in a day. In time, we will regain what's rightfully ours. Plans in motion. Everything is going as planned. And Marcus, Biden is a weekend at Bernie's corpse. Yeah, very true. I think I posted that meme. I can't remember. I think I did. Or either that or I saw it. I'm not sure. And Deborah says, I'm sure you're right. Counting on it. And Deborah also says, good point. And won't happen. James says, the good thing is she wouldn't betray any foreign power with the button. She works for them. Yeah, I'm not worried about her betraying them. I'm worried about her betraying us. So yeah, we're finally caught up on those. I mean, we had comments just shooting up in there. So finally we're good. So let me ask you, once this is all over in November, do you think we're going to have like a pre-disruption type rallies going on before the election, or do you think it's going to be post?
Ask that again.
You think there's going to be disruptions and protests and burning and pillaging and all that, like say starting a few days, maybe even a week before the election, or do you think things are going to go quiet and it's going to wait till after?
Your biggest push is going to be the 2 weeks before the election. Antifa, BLM is going to be beating the streets heavily. They're going to be creating as much havoc as they can possibly create the 2 weeks before.
I like
and
what
don't
Deborah
be
said there.
surprised. Don't be surprised if some of the places that are looted and burned out are Republican voting centers in Republican counties.
Yeah, because they're going to do everything to slow it down, to slow down any type of votes. I'm planning on doing the early voting. How many people are going to be doing early voting, and how many are going to wait till to go to the polls?
I'm going to the polls.
I'm going to go to the polls.
So y'all are going to go to the polls?
Hell yes.
Yeah. I was going to go do early voting.
Nah, I'm going to go to the polls, and the reason I'm going to go to the polls is because I'm going to take my 15-year-old.
Oh, you're going to show them what it's like.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's absolutely right.
I hate to say this, but in some places you may want to be carrying when you go through those polls, because just like now, we have elected officials in office telling these people, go ahead and raise as much hell as you can, even up to voting day. So the streets aren't really going to be that safe, especially if they want to get their point across even more violently than what they're doing. And it's kind of scary, because when you sit there and think about it, what are you going to do when you walk into a parking lot and you get surrounded? You know, and what are you going to do?
I always carry.
Yeah. What are you going to do when you sit there and you come out of that door from voting and you get surrounded going back to your car, or your car is disabled and it's just 1 against 25 or 30? You know, those are things that's a scary scenario, but it could happen.
It is. And I'm in a unique position. I'm not a small guy. I'm 6 foot, about 6 foot, about 235 pounds. And I pack a mean punch. However, my 15-year-old is the same size, if not bigger than me. And he plays baseball. And all he has to do is get any kind of a bat-like substance in his hands, and it's going to be like playing whack-a-mole.
Yeah. And Marcus says, I'm worried that Biden won't concede the election and that mail-in ballots will somehow factor in to turn the election around to Biden. I'm going to wake up at the polls, LOL.
And see, we've already seen videos of the U.S. Postal Service throwing away ballots, throwing them in the trash.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we have.
From Republican reporting districts. So if the mail-in ballots come into a factor and come into play, we have a legitimate argument. How can we say that these things are actually that the mail-in ballots were all counted correctly? How many did that lady throw away in the dumpster? How many people were not caught on camera throwing away stuff in the dumpster?
True. And Marcus says, LTC or license to carry, and I will defend myself by Texas law. Amen, Marcus.
Yeah, Marcus.
Take care of you and your family. Darren says, Hillary has already said Biden shouldn't concede for any reason. And I heard her say that. I think she's released some flying monkey after saying that. Yeah. I actually heard her say that on a speech.
And Biden said, I will not concede under any circumstances. That's why this election, in order for there to be as little of trauma and as little problems as possible for Trump, he can't win by a few votes. He can't win by 1 or 2 here, 1 or 2 there. He must win by a landslide.
And that's what's scary, Gordon, is because we have every...
It's going to be all hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, Gordon, because we have every little dadgum monkey, as they call them, flying around that they're gonna vote. They're out there just as strong as we are, and never underestimate your enemy. Okay, never underestimate your enemy. My Deborah Fawcett, I think, is the one who said that a while ago. About no, Lilith said, "I'm going to be going with some Marine friends." Semper Fi, Deborah. Semper Fi.
And
I like
Deborah,
that.
real quick, she says there's no chance Biden is winning without serious corruption.
Yeah.
I agree.
Now, we've got listeners and we've got people who are spread all across the country, and for that matter, all across the world. We got Sue that listens in Australia. We've got Darren in what is it? Netherlands?
New Zealand.
No, it was something started with an N. There's people here in the U.S. and they are always wanting to know, what can we do to show our support? Our community has become part of the Trump train. The Trump train is nothing more than a group of people who get together with flags, American flags, Trump supporters, and they drive through the community on a given time, at a set time and a set date. Bernie's had 2 in the last 2 weekends, last weekend and this weekend on Saturday. Bernie, Texas is a community that I live in. The first one last weekend had a little over 200. That's right, 200 vehicles with about 4 or 5 people in each vehicle drive down the center of our community with flags that say, "We back the blue, Trump 2020, the American flag." Okay, this past weekend, we did another one that goes from Bernie to Comfort, which is about 12 and a half miles on the access road. And our local sheriff's department stopped counting after 500 plus vehicles, 530, I think. They just said, we stopped counting.
And see, and that's awesome, because I think if more communities got together and did this, it would show the support and back a lot of these people off. I know where I'm at over here, we are a majority of Republican. And it's Democrats are very, very few out here. This is a big, big Republican area. If you're a Democrat and running for office out here, if you're Republican, you're going to win. If you're a Democrat, might as well hang it up. It's not going to happen for you.
I'd like to throw
And
a note
Deborah,
of caution.
Trump boat parades this weekend in Texas. A lot of Trump boat parades in Texas. And Marcus says, Eddie, is that a camo Trump hat? Awesome. They're all cool, guys. Yes, this is a camo Trump hat. And I'll get kind of close here. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah. So yeah, we all wear our Trump hats when we do the show over here. And like I said before, we're going to be doing more and more shows as time goes on. We're starting to put them on YouTube. As a matter of fact, we're live on YouTube right now. You guys didn't know that, did you?
Oh,
we're live on YouTube.
nice.
We're live on YouTube also at the same time. Yeah, so we're doubling it up, and we're going to get out here more, and we're going to be posting more and more stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's everybody's got to do their part, and you know, we get out over here, we speak our mind, we do what we can do, and all we ask is that all of you share our videos, share our podcast, because after this is done, all the audio goes on a podcast on a Political Analytical on Anchor.com, and we put this stuff out because we want to reach as many people as we can, because the more people we reach, that it's just way better, because we're putting the messages out. And I know there's a lot of different shows out there, and all these shows that are out there, we're all doing our part in order to try and make this happen and keep the Democrats out of office. Because if they get in, this is not going to be the America that we are used to. This is not going to be the America that we grew up in. And this is not going to be the America that our children and our grandkids are going to grow up to.
No, it's not. The America that we knew back in the 50s, the America that our founding fathers created, is on life support as we speak. And if something drastic doesn't happen, if Trump does not win this election and finish draining that swamp, that America is going to cease to exist.
And I'd like to throw a little air of caution in the wind there, guys. There are Republican senators right now that are sitting in their seats very comfortable. And they're not true Republicans. They're not GOP. Nothing. Well, they've gunned down almost every legislation that any really good Republican has brought forth. And these are guys that are sitting there going against anything and everything that Trump has said or wants to say or do. And if you look in the papers and you see these guys or wherever, take a good look at who these Republicans are. They're all over the United States. There's 10 or 12, 15 of them that are anti-Trump, that don't want anything to do with the Republican Party, but only they're Republicans in name only. And I'd like to bring that to attention.
That's very true, Rick.
Now, you're right, Rick. And what I'd like to do is, and I'll probably do a little bit this week, is do a little research and find out who those are. And let's get their names out there, public.
Yeah. We'll get their names out there, definitely, and put them out there. Darren even said that he saw a 2020 Trump bumper sticker in New Zealand.
Hell yeah.
Whoa.
That's awesome.
Deborah goes, badass. And then we got Claire, who I don't think is a Trump fan, but I'm going to put her post out there. I mean, she's entitled to her opinion as well. And Deborah Fawcett says, whoa. Antonella says, awesome. James has got to go feed some children's. So he says, keep up the good fight, guys. We got this. Deborah says, absolute truth. It's now or never. And Lisa says, hey, y'all. And Deborah says rhinos.
Rhinos. Republicans name only.
In name only.
Republicans in name only. Yep. And Lisa says Trump. Hell yes.
Now, if I could take just a couple of minutes here, Eddie, I want to go back to Claire's comment where she says, Trump, no. Now, I've never seen Claire on any of our stuff before, and you're right. If this is your first time, Claire, I want to welcome you to the show. And your comments are always more than welcome here. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. But I'm going to go back to my famous tagline, has been famous since I started doing the show. This is America, and you have the right to be wrong.
I knew that was coming. I felt it, Gordon. I did.
Yeah. And Lisa, not Lisa, I'm sorry, Claire, if you don't, never watched the show before, Gordon is very outspoken. So don't be intimidated by it. You can post your comments and what have you. I mean, whether they're good or bad, for Trump, against Trump, whatever the case might be, put them out there. I mean, it's like I said, that's what we're fighting for, is the freedom to keep doing that.
Absolutely.
And, so, anything that you put out there, we appreciate, good, bad, or indifferent, right, wrong, or indifferent. It doesn't matter. You can put your comments out there. We've always been known to speak our minds and speak our piece. And that's what this is all about. So feel free. Real quick, we also have, let's see here. We have Marcus. He says, I like that saying, Gordon. Gordonolus.
No, that's a U.S. flag after the exclamation point. And yes, I am very, very, very soft spoken. My opinions sometimes they don't come through all that clear.
He's not soft spoken.
Bullshit. Sorry, Gordon. I had to yell.
Do you need some allergy medicine, Rick?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
It's all the pollen.
It is.
Oh, so what else is going on, guys?
Well, basically just that. It's basically watching the push that is coming now from the right and pushing against the left. Hopefully, it'll at least back them off a little bit and save some of our cities. And that's the main thing. I mean, we can't take any more of this, and we shouldn't be taking any more of this. And if the cities aren't going to do anything to stop the violence and stop the burning and stop the pillaging, then unfortunately, I think the citizens are going to have to do their job for them.
I think so too.
I agree totally with that statement.
And
we've got a hell of a job to do.
We do. And the thing is that we all need to pull it together and help each other as much as we can. And like I said, I mean, there's not a whole lot we can do right at this moment except get the word out, keep pushing forward, keep sharing the videos, keep letting everybody know what our opinions are as best we can. We've got all this public media that we work with, and people can watch these videos and listen to podcasts, anytime they want to. So let's use it to our advantage. Let's get the message out there, because let's face it, how many days do we have left?
Well, let's see. Today is the 6th. So,
58 days.
Yeah, right at it. We're on 2 months.
Yeah, that's not very much, everybody. I mean, we're going to have to really buckle down. And like I said before, guys, it's coming up time to where we're going to have to start going on, I think, at least 2 times a week and try and get this out there. And if you can't, I'm going to do my best to get out there 2 times a week, because we need to really start pushing. And then, of course, election night, we're going to be on here a long time.
Yes, we are.
And hopefully, God willing, we'll have an answer, by the end of the night. But I kind of have a feeling that we're not going to. Deborah says, every day I'm doing all I can. So Deborah is out there. She's doing what she can on her part. Lisa says, I got your 6.
I like that.
And Lilith says, time to take our heads out of our asses and see what's going on. Time to make a stand, my friends. I agree, Lilith. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Can't be pushed around anymore. And Deborah says, cannot wait.
So this next Saturday, we've got another Trump train. And if it's all right with the two of you guys, I am going to go live with Political Analytical, even if it's for 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
Absolutely. What do you think, Rick?
Good. I like that. I do. I like that.
Now, it's going to be on my phone. So you guys can get a sense of what is going on. So you guys can see what's going on. And I want to encourage everybody who is in a community that maybe doesn't have something like this, doesn't have a Trump train, or doesn't have an organized, shoot me a message. I'll put you in contact with the people who set it up in our community, and they can help you set this stuff up.
And when's this going to be, Gordon?
This is next Saturday.
Next Saturday, about what time?
Where everybody is meeting next Saturday at the Walmart in Bernie, Texas. I don't know how many people are local or around the San Antonio area, but if you guys are in the San Antonio area and y'all want to take a trip on next Saturday up to Bernie, meet me in the parking lot of Walmart at 10 a.m. I will be there, and we will be getting our stuff ready to go on the Trump train.
Not only that, Gordon, but what you can do while you're going live is go interview some of these people.
Yeah.
To view as well.
Yeah.
And I want to welcome Otis on here. I haven't seen Otis on here before. Have any of you? But he says, I'm with you. And welcome, Otis. If I haven't seen you on here before, or if you've been on here before, I apologize. I haven't seen you on here. Yep. But thank you for being on the show, and I appreciate you chiming in. And we're with you too, brother.
All the way, bud.
I just want to add, guys, that and to the people that's in the chat and everything, and everybody listening to us and everything, this isn't about color, okay? It isn't whether you're brown or white or black, green, polka dot, whatever. This is about being a damn American, okay? This is about pulling up your big boy pants and your big girl panties, uniting as one for a cause that we have got to pay attention to, because if we let this slide by, we're going to be in a world of hurt, people. I'm just telling you, I have to back Gordon on everything he said tonight, as far as what's going to transpire, and what Eddie said too, as far as what's going to transpire if we lose. We have to be united.
Absolutely. And we all need to keep pulling together. Gordon, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I said I'm agreeing with Rick. Looking at color bothers the shit out of me. You want to know the biggest reason why? Is because when I look at my face in the mirror, I got white here, I got some brown here, I got some white over here, I got some, I don't know, that may be leftover dinner or something, but it's red over here. But everybody wears all different kinds of colors. Everybody does. Just look at our heritage and look at our background, and for anybody to say you're not white enough, you're not black enough, you're not brown enough, really?
We're human beings.
Yeah, we're all mutts.
All of us.
We are all mutts, except for Rick. Rick's not a mutt. He's an American Indian.
Yeah, look at us here. I mean, I'm a mutt as well too. I mean, I've got probably, I don't know, Irish and Hispanic and Caucasian, and I don't know, I got everything in me. But Rick is American Indian, and Gordon, you're a mud as well. You got all kinds of God only knows what, and I mean that laughingly.
Oh, I know. I know you do.
But
that's
we're all-
STD, Gordon. Hey, Gordon, that's STD. Stop the Democrats. Okay.
Yes,
We need
yes,
to do that. Okay.
yes.
Yeah.
We ought to have a Trump or a flag for our Trump, our Trump train with that on there. Stop the STD. Stop the Democrats.
Yep.
Want to go and just take the last couple of minutes of my time, and then I'll finally shut up. Guys, we love hearing from you guys. We love hearing from you guys in the comments. We love getting to visit with each other and having you guys be a part of it. But I want to encourage you guys to share this, share our videos, share our YouTubes, share Political Analytical with anybody and everybody in your contact list.
Our podcast also.
And our podcasts. Get all that stuff out there. We never know who is riding the fence that our podcast might just influence. We never know who's just on the fence quietly and privately, who you could help bring to the light and bring to the Republican side, keeping Donald Trump in office. So share the shit out of this, out of stuff, please.
Absolutely. I got to read this from Darren because this is really cool. Darren says, for someone outside of America, we fought together in the Second World War for freedom, and we're doing it again.
Yep.
Amen, Darren. We are. And we are all going to be fighting side by side for freedom once again. And if America goes down, and I don't think we will, but if we do, it's going to be bad for every single person on this planet because it's going to be a complete nasty takeover.
Absolutely.
And with that, let's do some final thoughts. We're going to start off with Rick.
Okay. I share this information with everybody I can, guys. I talk about us at the Walmart. I talk about us at the grocery store. I talk about us at the dinner table. And that's how important I feel this situation is. And when I talk to somebody and when I put something online, I always start with be political analytical. I want you to understand what's going on. Okay. We're not doing this to just blow smoke up your ass. Okay. We're not. I want you to be political analytical. I want you to look at the everything that's going on, all the subjects, all the topics, everything that these candidates are blowing up. And I want you to be aware of what this is going to be like if we don't get out there together, just like Gordon and Eddie and I are talking about. I love every one of you for your dedication. I do. And this is what it's going to take. And I can't address that more than I just want to get it out there. Hey, be political, analytical.
Gordon?
Yeah, I've, again, do your homework. Look at the facts. Look at the America that you grew up in, and look at the America that we're leaving to our children. Look at what you can do to leave this country in a better shape than what we found it in. Look at what Biden is standing for. Look at what he's standing on. Look at what he's walking on. The truest test, they say that impersonation is the truest form of flattery. Y'all have heard that?
Yes.
Yep.
What are his constituents impersonating him? Are they impersonating people who stand up for the freedoms of others, people who stand up for the freedoms of our soldiers who aren't here, for standing up for the freedoms of speech, standing up for our Second Amendment rights? Or are they standing up for Antifa? Are they standing up to defund police departments? Are they standing up to stand on an American flag? Take a look. Use your eyes. Use your ears. And for all means, get out and vote.
Amen. Yeah.
Absolutely. Very well put, Gordon. And also, Rick, awesome job at the final comments. All I got to say is that, remember, everybody, we are all Americans. We're not a color. We're not a race. We're not any of that. We're all Americans. We're all brothers and sisters. Every one of us, whether we're on the right or whether we're on the left. And it's unfortunately we're split at this point. But we have to stand for what America is. We have to stand for what America represents. We have to stand for what our forefathers did to create this fine nation. America the Great. America, we proudly stand. America, we fight and die together to defend her, to fight for the freedoms, not only for ourselves, but for our children, for our families, for our grandchildren, and on and on and on. Because we're only here for so long. And what we do to this country is going to last for a very long time. So remember, please share our videos, share our thoughts, share your thoughts. Let's get this out to as many as we can. Share the videos, share all the Facebook videos, the YouTube videos, the podcasts. Get all this stuff out as much as you can. Let's get these shows out there. We only have a couple of months, less than a couple of months.
Less.
And then it's going to be on. So remember, we love you guys from Political Analytical. We care about every single one of you. We care about all Americans. We care about our way of life and the way we'd like to keep it and what America stands for. And if we lose it, it's going to be very hard to get it back. So we have to fight, and we have to fight hard, and we have to fight now to make sure we maintain America the Great. With that in mind, everybody, take care. We love you guys once again. Be safe, be true to the country, be true to the flag. And remember, every Sunday at 8 p.m., Political Analytical, join us. Y'all take care, and we'll see you again next time.
Good night.